Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Author's Corner, brought to you by KNEO 91.7 FM The Word. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I welcome Caroline Shankle to Author's Corner. She is the author of the book The Lion and the Bear, a 100-day guide for facing your giants, which is published by Revell, a division of Maker Publishing, and she'll tell you more about how to find the book at the end of the program. Caroline actually co-wrote this book with her mother, Melanie. So let me give you a little background about both ladies. So Melanie is a New York Times bestselling author, a popular speaker, and co-host of a podcast, a graduate of Texas A&M. She loves writing, checking to see what's on sale at Anthropology, and looking for the bright side. And most of all, it says she loves being the mother of Caroline and the wife of Perry. And so Caroline is with us today as the family tree is she's Melanie's daughter. She graduated with an animal science degree from Texas A&M last year, but she's now pursuing a master's degree at Texas A&M. And in addition, she hopes to write more books and speak to young women about the battles they face. So your degree is not necessarily reflective of the style of book that you wrote.
No, ma'am, it is not. Hey, I stayed on the animal theme at least.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is true. This is true. Okay, so why don't you tell us what inspired you to write your book, The Lion and the Bear?
Yes, ma'am. So the inspiration behind it, it was 100% a God thing. It really was, I wrote it because I felt it was in His will for me to write it. And it was kind of by circumstance a little bit. My mom had a book that she was writing. This was back a few years ago, called Here Be Dragons, and it was about her generational trauma and breaking generational cycles of her mom kind of being her first mean girl. And when I was in high school, I went through a lot of bullying and struggled with female friendship. And I remember talking to my mom while she was writing the book, and I just said, hey, if at some point you would like me to write a little something in there from my point of view so people know what I was thinking at the time, because at the time when I said this, I was about 20. So I was a little bit younger, and just so people could know kind of what maybe their teenage daughter was thinking in this time or what they were feeling. And I remember my mom went out and kind of, when she was giving the proposal for the book to different publishing houses, one publishing house, Revell, actually came back and was like, we would like for you to write that book, but then could Caroline also write something for us? We would be interested in that. And at the time, my mom was like, well, she's a junior in college. She's got a lot going on. Maybe not quite right now. And then she ended up going with a different publishing house. But someone at Revell was like, well, we would still love to talk to Caroline. And, of course, at the time, I mean, when you're a college student, you're like, yes, any connections I can make for a potential job, I'm here for. And it was very interesting in my life at the time because this was in December. And this was in 2023. And I had just gone through, which I know every girl can relate to this, but I had just gone through a really bad breakup. And it was just God really redirected the trajectory of my life with that breakup. And just all of a sudden I was like, I was at a place of complete and total surrender. I just had no idea what my future held and what my plans were. And literally 6 days after that breakup, I had a Zoom call with the publishing house to just talk about maybe the potential of doing a book. And, you know, they were asking, they were like, well, how would you do this? And I was like, well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is what I would write about. You know, I'm sure I had like chocolate on my sweatshirt and had been crying a little bit before because that's just how it is. But then at the end of the call, they were like, awesome, we'll get a contract to you in February. And I remember I looked at my mom with tears in my eyes and I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is why this went down. And that's kind of how the writing started and how I was inspired to truly start writing the devotional, The Lion and the Bear.
And as you mentioned, this is a devotional. It's a 100-day guide for facing your giants. And, of course,
yes, ma'am.
That's a phrase that has become popular since the movie came out many years ago.
Yes.
But tell us why The Lion and the Bear. Give us some insight into the title of your devotional.
Yes, ma'am. So the title really comes from something that was just a theme with my family and something we said. I went through a lot of bullying and a lot of mean girl stuff my sophomore year of high school. And at the same time, I was facing injuries in soccer. I was dealing with hard stuff at school. I mean, there was so much that would kind of go wrong. And I was just really struggling. And, my dad, every time we would be at the dining room table, and every time I would talk about something or share something, or it would be a struggle, he'd look at me, and it just became our family motto. We would say, the lion and the bear. And basically where this comes from is the story of David and Goliath, and how when you start looking in 1 Samuel, David says this at one point, 1 Samuel 37, but that God sent him the lion and the bear before he faced Goliath. He knew he could face his giant because God had delivered him from the lion and the bear, that it prepared him for something greater later on. And I think each of us in our own life have our lions and bears and these trials that are hard for us, but they prepare us for greater battles later on. And that was just something I wanted to share with others. I wanted young girls to look at their struggles and look at what they're going through as a way to prepare for something greater, to know that God is there for them, that he is for them, not against them, that he has something better for them in the future and is preparing them for great things. And I just wanted them to be able to see adversity in that lens, and that's where the title came from, The Lion and the Bear.
Okay, so today I'm talking with Caroline Shankle regarding the book, The Lion and the Bear, a 100-day guide for facing your giants. It's published by Revell, a division of Baker Publishing, and as mentioned earlier, it's written with her mother, Melanie Shankle. Okay, so you've got 100 devotions here, and they're very short. But one of the things that I noticed is that you have a weekly recap. So are they written with kind of the same type of theme in mind for 7 days and then the recap? So tell us a little bit about the structure of the devotional.
So the structure of the devotional is the first 6 days are devotions. And some of them align with each other and are on theme, but other ones just kind of stand on their own. But basically I try to space everything out where you get a little bit of everything, and every week you get a little bit of a different theme. So it's not exactly each week is a different theme. It's just that I have different messages every day, and some of them work well with each other. But when I go through devotions, I sometimes have a hard time remembering on Sunday what I read on Monday.
Sure.
And going back and reflecting on that. And I mean, we have a life, we have school, we have so much stuff. I mean, our brain can only hold so much information. And so I thought something that would be kind of cool would be to do a weekly recap and some questions to just kind of reflect on what you read earlier that week and maybe how it played out during your week in a way where you're able to kind of recap what you read on Monday on a Sunday evening. And all the questions kind of go together, so they stay on theme with each other at the end of the week. But it was really cool how it played out when I was writing it, because I wouldn't mean to do something in a certain order or have a certain theme, but it ended up just working that way. And I'm like, that's a funny way of doing things, God. Thanks for the help there. But yeah, that's kind of the format of it and my idea behind it.
All right. So what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had given you when you were 16 about navigating life as a teen that you wanted to pass along to the readers of your devotional?
The one piece of advice I wish I could go back and tell my younger self is, and this sounds a little bit cliche or cheesy to just say it outright, but be fully yourself. Like, be confident in who you are. I think so often when I was in my teens, I was so insecure and worried about being too much. I had a strong personality, and I was loud, and I would want to talk, and I cared deeply about things, and I was always worried about caring too much. And, you're supposed to be kind of a nonchalant, cool person, and I've learned later on in life, I'm a very chalant person. That's just not really how I'm wired. And in high school, that was really hard, and just the social dynamics of high school. But once I got to college, I found friend groups where people loved me for me and appreciated me as I am, and I didn't have to change a thing. And I want to give younger girls that confidence of your people will come, but also know that who you are is so important. I mean, I look at it, and just the thing that I still tell myself to this day is God looked at the world and said, you know what this world needs? This world needs a Caroline Shankle. It doesn't need a Caroline Shankle trying to pretend to be this girl that's more popular or this girl who does this. It needs a Caroline Shankle at her full Caroline Shankleness. And I think I would go back and I'd tell younger girls that, and just to be confident in who God made you to be, and that you are who you are for a reason, and being true to yourself is going to make a difference in this world.
Wonderful. Okay, so you were writing this book with your mother. Was there a time when you discussed with her what was it like for her when she was 20 years old compared to your 20 years old?
I don't think it really ever came up in like a natural discussion of us talking about that, but I do think I've gotten a lot of questions on kind of this generation because it is different with social media. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that separates maybe past generations from my generation is we were the first ones. I say we grew up on the Wild West of the internet, just from the aspect of like no one really knew the ramifications of it or what it could do. It was kind of a free-for-all. And now that we're a little bit older, it's coming out, oh my gosh, it's making kids anxious and they're dealing with this. And so I think we talked a lot about that and just how girls my age have to struggle so much with comparison now, and how, used to you maybe wouldn't find out if someone was hanging out without you or if your friend group was doing this. But now it's posted all over Instagram or, on Snapchat, you can see people's locations and you're getting a live feed of your friends leaving you out. And I think that takes a toll on younger girls mentally, So that was kind of a big thing we discussed.
And if there was a main message that you wanted to insert throughout your devotional, what might that be?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I think my biggest thing and the biggest message I want girls to get from it is that you are going to face hard times and you are going to face tough battles, but God, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to carry you through them. Amen. I think my life verse, it's my favorite verse, is Isaiah 41:10, and it just says, "Do not be dismayed, do not be afraid, for I am the Lord your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, and I will uphold you in my righteous right hand." And what I would tell every girl and what I want them to know throughout the devotional is your God is for you, your God is with you, he is upholding you, and he is strengthening you, and who you are is enough, and you are strong in Christ. And I think I just want to equip girls with that confidence, and I want that to be the theme throughout the devotional as they go through hard times, as they struggle, as they feel left out, or if they feel not included in something or hurt over a friend group. I want them to know God has a plan for you, and he has something great planned for you. So hold on for that blessing and hold on for that promise.
Amen. A good word to leave us with. So today I've been talking with Caroline Shankle about her book, The Lion and the Bear, a 100-day guide for facing your giants. And this book is hardbound, and it's got a beautiful cover, and certainly a book that can withstand reading through many, many times. And so, Caroline, before you leave us, tell our listeners how they can find out more about this book.
You can find out more if you would like to follow me on Instagram. It is Caroline Shankle. That is just the username, at Caroline Shankle. You can find this book everywhere books are sold. You can go on to Baker House Publishing website, and you can order the book there. But, yeah, you can kind of find it wherever books are sold.
All righty. One more time, it's called The Lion and the Bear, a 100-day guide for facing your giants. And I've been talking with Caroline Shankle, who wrote the book with her mother, Melanie Shankle. And we certainly do thank Revell, a division of Baker Publishing, for giving us a copy of the book today. Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And to our listeners, if you'd like to hear this interview again, or perhaps you need to share it with a teen that you know, or anybody else, you can find this interview on your favorite podcast platform or through kneo.org. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Roberta Foster on the Author's Corner. Join me again next time.
Never miss your favorite show again. For more than 30 years, KNEO has been bringing you great Bible teachers on a local and national level. And now, we've made it easier than ever to hear from these great men and women of God. KNEO's entire lineup is now available to listen anytime, anywhere, through our website. Go to kneo.org/podcast to see all the options. You can search for programs alphabetically, or you can select individual categories like culture, kids, leadership, or music. We even have a category just for locally produced programs, so you can hear from pastors and spiritual leaders located right here in the 4-state area. And all these resources are absolutely free. KNEO's mission is to get God's Word in front of you, and this is one of the ways we do it. Give it a try today. Go to kneo.org and click on the podcast tab to get started.